Okay, let's talk about chapter 49 from Ragnarok. And obviously in that chapter, obviously spoiler if you have read that chapter yet, in Ragnarok, we have a continuation, the fight with Buddha and Zero. And Buddha knocks down Zero, and Zero gets possessed of some kind of a demon. But the interesting thing in this chapter that we see the new fighter, that is Beelzebub. But I'm wondering here if Beelzebub, for we see in the picture when Beelzebub sitting behind the computer, like the big computer screen, we see a symbol on the floor with the dragon, and exactly the same dragon, the same image of that dragon we see that transform Zero to that big demon. So I'm wondering if Beelzebub have something to do with his transformation, and so on. So it's very interesting, because when he's in the big box, like an egg or like this kind of thing, it's interesting because for me, like, if Beelzebub have possessed his Zero in some way with the dragon, I'm wondering if they saw that Beelzebub also fighting against Buddha at the same time, but not as physical fighting, but more like he controlled Zero from from the distance in the fight, and this kind of thing. So this kind of thing gives a very specific change to the whole thing with Reckoning of Ragnarok, because of the different fighters have different motives. They are different from like the first 5-6 fighters. It's more like the first one, more like a classical, like a Colosseum fight. But after Buddha changed side to work with the human instead of the guards, that means there is one. That is the problem with Zero, is that Zero was like a guard for luckiness, that give you luck. But then he get corrupt, and then he get angry. He was like turned to give people unlucky and suffering and all this kind of thing. So this is the problem here. If Zero is more like the 7 lucky guard, and then Zero transformed to that is more like a demon, or now he's really a demon. So it's more like a Buddha against the demon, and then we have Beelzebub. And so this it's it's almost like we have a total different change to the whole thing. There's more like demon against human, demon against God. It's more like a mixture of the fight. I think that is totally okay. I think it's okay. So long they do it in a good way, that they bring up like first we just have human and guards against each other, but now they can maybe change this to make it more interesting, so that they maybe put demons in too in the fight. So we maybe get demons from different cultures too. The same, we have guards from different culture, and so I'm wondering. What if we see some like specific dogs around Beelzebub, like one like a skeleton, and like he have like a black clothing, like a Beelzebub with some kind of like almost like priestly, I don't know the name of it, like what some kind of priest have, and this kind of thing. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how. But the interesting thing here in this video, interesting in the picture of that chapter 49, is that we see the same dragon, one of the dragon, depicted on the wall in the cave of Beelzebub's, like when he watched the fight from. We know that all of the guards have different TV screen that they watch the fight from. For example, we know that Shiva they have TV controls, and so most of them, if they don't are sitting and watching the Colosseum, they are watching at their home stage, because so they give us a very interesting thing here, because then they show obviously they say Beelzebub but it's almost like that we have like an underground guards, that we have the guards that more like a separate group that do not belong to like the more mainstream guard in Reckoning of Ragnarok. For example, Thor, Aphrodite, Poseidon, Zeus, and other people in the show, and this kind of thing. It's almost, I'm wondering if it's so that we will have like almost like a dark side of Reckoning of Ragnarok. For example, Beelzebub, the fight, the demon that was Zero was transformed to, and then we have Hades. I'm wondering if we're gonna have much more like a darker chapter right now. We're gonna have a much more on the darker side, like between demon and between demon and anti-guard, kind of fighters. I still think, as I said before, my other video with about Reckoning and Ragnarok, that we're gonna have the fight between what's his name again? Oh, he's I totally forget his name, but the guy who is famous for looking into the future in history, and so sorry for that. And I think she's one D. I think gonna fight against Apollo. Then we have the guy the famous sniper, and so we have lots of interesting fighters that's gonna come up in Reckoning of Ragnarok, and this kind of thing. And then so maybe after some of the fights we're gonna see is in the future, like a continuation of the anime show, like for Netflix. And continue, like the first episode was gonna be with Hercules versus Jack the Ripper. Then we have Shiva fight against Raiden, and after that we're gonna have Buddha versus Zero, and after that is so far we know all of the fight. What we don't know is the new one is obviously Beelzebub, and we don't know who Beelzebub is gonna fight against in the show. What I speculate about is just that if Beelzebub have something to do with Zero's transformation, because he said this thing was. I'm wondering if they saw that Zero's final transformation, the possession is a creature that lives in the realm of Beelzebub's realm. Beelzebub controls this kind of realm, and one of the demon dragons that possess people is working for Beelzebub. So I'm wondering, is this some kind of a coup? And the Beelzebub. I don't know if they're gonna try like the same story like with Hades, try to overthrow the other Olympian guard, but they change it to be Beelzebub instead, and they're gonna have like a new like alliance, like instead of the original fought that human against the guard. If seven of the humans win over the guard, they're gonna get 1,000 more years to live. But if the guards live, they're gonna be extinct. But I'm wondering if they're gonna come a new foe into the show, and the guard and the human have to ally together to fight against the demons, to change something. I don't know. I just speculate here that this is gonna happen. That there's some kind of a coup, that kind of undertaking, that Beelzebub, that he in some ways can control things. But it's something that from Zero's horns, the two dragons come out and go into his body. But we don't, and the only thing that we see in connection with is one of the dragon on the Beelzebub's wall. We see a painting of that dragon. And this is why I think Beelzebub's maybe have the dragon or something, the creature working for Beelzebub in some ways. And this kind of thing. So yeah, it's interesting. I think Reckoning and Ragnarok is an interesting manga because they have interesting upgrades in the mangas. I think it's first you get more like a classical fight manga, like most angry dude fight against each other. But now we get much more like as I said before, like a darker touch to it. We get more like people that is more like, we don't know if they're working with the gods or with the human, or if they are something totally. They fight against both of them, and this kind of thing. So yeah, I hope we're gonna see the chapter 50 soon rather than later. We don't have to wait so long for but we get two chapters. We have 48 and 49 was released at the same time, so maybe that is the thing that they're gonna release. Maybe I hope soon. Yeah, that is just my speculation for the connection with Beelzebub and the demon that possesses Zero, and that is some kind of a connection, obviously, because of the demon with Buddha. Like when Buddha go through his training to be Buddha, he was possessed of different demons. One of lust, one of greed, and the other one obviously is probably a demon that tried to inflict him with evilness and this kind of thing. And so that is, but that is a strange thing, because just because of the pictures and say with the dragon in the Beelzebub's cave, and obviously Beelzebub knows about this kind of thing, about the demon. So obviously you get some connection, like some obviously it's probably inspiration from, like, example, Bleach and Shaman King in different part of the chapter, like in the Reckoning and Ragnarok. So I think maybe we're gonna see season 2 for Reckoning and Ragnarok. Maybe if I just give us a hint, speculation about when, maybe in September, maybe. I think it can be possible in September, or I don't know. I don't think we're gonna have to wait 2 or 3 years. I think maybe 1 year, but then if it's come like in 2021 season 2, I'm probably gonna see it like in January, like in middle of January, and so on. So yeah, that is probably everything I really want to say about my speculation for the fight in Reckoning and Ragnarok with Zero, the demon, and Buddha and Beelzebub. Here now I remember his name. The person I think will fight against Beelzebub is, remember, this is just my speculation, but what I think is Beelzebub gonna fight against Nostradamus. I think Nostradamus is the person gonna fight against the Beelzebub, and obviously, as I said before, Shishwang Di gonna fight against Apollo, and Nikola Tesla probably gonna fight. This is hard to say. Nikola Tesla. I don't know Nikola Tesla. That is too complicated for me to know. I don't know who he gonna fight. Leonardo's probably gonna fight because one of the gods changed side to the human side, so we're gonna probably have a human changing to the gods, change working for the gods. So probably that is gonna be the snow sniper that's gonna work for the gods. And I think Nikola Tesla gonna fight this guy. So they have. I think the German guy gonna work for the gods. and he probably gonna fight against. It's between Nikola Tesla or Leonardus. So I think Nikola Tesla. And so we have 3 other Japanese characters. So I'm gonna come one in the show. But the one I most look forward to see, obviously, is Shi Huangdi, Nostradamus,